Hi, this is Shelby, and you're listening to Recess Radio. And we're here with Ryan and Mike and our special guest, and I'll let you take it away, Ryan. Introduce him.
We are here with John Santiago. John is a classically trained musician and has a great band that you should be on the lookout for. He'll tell you more about it as the show goes on. He also managed one of the top venues in the world for a long period of time. So he should have quite some interesting stories on that. John, how's it been here in Florida so far?
It's been great. I mean, I've been down to Sarasota a good handful of times at this point, and every time I come down, it seems to feel a little bit more like home, and it's definitely, it's a great place to come down to, especially coming from New York City, where it sort of never stops. I guess that's the only thing I could complain about is when I'm still awake at 4 and 5 in the morning and I can't go to the bodega or the bar.
Yeah, right. Yeah. New York has crazy hours, and you had crazy hours at Webster Hall. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, since Webster's kind of closed up, it's definitely been a difficult transition, like in terms of my circadian rhythm and sort of my natural homeostasis.
Right.
So, I'm used to going to bed at least every weekend. I didn't go to sleep until sometime between 6:30 and 8:30 in the morning on the regular. After kind of, working the party all night. And then, of course, always at the end of the night, making sure my employees were all happy. There's a lot of people and, having an end-of-shift drink or two. And so we'd wind up, there late and enjoying each other's company after having 2,000 people run around and go crazy, enjoying each other's company and abusing us, essentially.
That's great. Do you have any, specific or maybe even a few interesting stories of any clients that came through as you were managing there?
I mean, don't try and get me in trouble. I see your eyes over there. Of course. I mean, yeah, we had a lot of crazy shit go on. It's a nightclub.
Right.
And,
yeah, of course.
And a concert venue, and we hosted some of the premier musicians and premier DJs from all around the world. So having them in the house, of course, not only in the green room and behind closed doors, but also just in the crowd and everywhere, basically in the building. We saw it was a lot of crazy things. A lot of crazy things. I can't say anybody was ever so crazy that I got scared or worried or anything was like not able to be handled internally and dealt with, and everything was always, people are people, so everybody's
people are people.
Yeah, and you know how it goes. That sounds like a very basic statement, but when it comes down to it, nobody wants to be in a bad position. So everybody's going to try their best to either be discreet
as much as possible,
or keep it cool and kosher, which is always easy. It's really not that hard when you think about it. True.
Yeah. You have any comments on that crazy night when Kanye showed up?
Yeah, that was a shit ton of people.
Right?
Holy crap.
How many? Was it 5,000?
About a little over 4,000 people showed up to the venue.
Yeah, I was there.
Thankfully, not a single person got hurt.
That's
a bunch of cars.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's a miracle.
But what?
A lot of cars got hurt. People were like standing on top of cars.
Jumping on them?
Yeah, jumping on them. Hoods and roofs of cars were all getting screwed up. A lot of our employees, our security guards, poor guys, But nobody got hurt, which is great. And I think a testament in many ways to Webster Hall and our staff.
Totally.
And the way that
Incredible
our security and the manner in which people were able to kind of, bring crowd control to a safe ending.
Yeah, I can contest to that being, a very frequent Webster Hall goer. Thank you to John and Kenny. So, yeah, their staff is incredible. So if anyone could handle that sort of situation, it would have been Webster Hall. It was insane. I was there. I've never seen a riot like that ever in my life. Not even like on TV. It was really crazy in a small block in New York City.
Yeah. And then, of course, Kanye came down came down Third. I mean, he helped us out when he rode down Third Avenue, standing out the the sunroof.
Yeah,
of the car.
I think it was a
like,
Rolls.
Yo, everybody's like, Yeezy, oh shit! Started like running down the street after him. It kind of helped to clear the street itself, and everybody started running onto the avenue. So that was good.
Help clear the street a little bit.
So
I just don't
thanks,
understand, like, what jumping on a car, like, what's that going to do for you as a human being? It's not going to get you into the club, but, like, it's not going to get you anywhere faster. I just don't.
Kanye's fans are crazy.
Yeah,
they are.
know.
They're crazy. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
And in fact, that's what made him not be able to perform that night because of that behavior.
Yeah.
That was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
A big part of it. Yeah. I mean, all those people showing up at once. I mean, the building wouldn't have been able to house them. Period. We wouldn't have been able to have all those people in the building. But also, people would have, if we let half of them in, that other half would have went crazy out on the street. I'm pretty sure.
Probably even crazier.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would have caused mayhem. So.
Yeah, I mean, for an artist like Kanye, you really have to plan ahead and staff properly.
Yeah.
If you have a regular artist.
Well, it
there
was
that
an
night-
interesting situation, John, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, what happened was so the night before, I mean, I was there. We had club night. We had a sold-out club night the night before. I forget who it was for. And then we woke up. Well, I didn't even go to sleep, actually. But when some of our booking team woke up, they had gotten a call, Governor's Ball is going to get canceled tonight. He was supposed to perform at Governor's Ball that night. But there was a lot of rain. It started raining early. And they canceled the show. So basically, it was like, all right, well, now we're getting hit up by Kanye's team because Vic Mensa was playing. He already had a show scheduled in the Marlin Room.
Right.
And Kanye and Vic they're close. So essentially, he wanted to come and bolster the Vic Mensa show by playing upstairs. And he was hitting up, Kenny and our booking team, Kenny Schachter, that is.
Yes, Kenny.
And Kenny was on the phone with me. We might have to staff this. We might have to staff this. I'm literally, I'll never forget sitting there on my bed, just like all I want to do is go to sleep. It was like 12 o'clock noon. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Like, I need to go to sleep. And I'm just waiting for the word. And then, of course, we got the word and staffed up the building. So.
Right. Yeah, you were expecting him. That's what I was told. And, and it's unfortunate because I was there back with Galantis. We were the only ones back there.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and Kenny. Shout out Kenny
Nice.
and John. But then you guys were great in getting us out of the building safely. That was, really impressive, actually. I don't know if many venues could have done that well. I can't even imagine dealing with that.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Do you have a favorite show from all of those years being there? I mean, do you have like a show that just like really stood out and you were like,
Yeah.
this was the best?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's like, there were a lot of layers to Webster Hall and the different artists that came through. My personal sort of most spiritual moment I had in that building was actually Soundgarden played their 20-year anniversary of Super Unknown with us. It was like a Citibank sponsored event, and it was on a Monday night. And the Sunday night before, they loaded everything in the day before. And that night, they sound checked the entire album front to back. And I got to sit upstairs in the ballroom, me and my good friend and a great New York City artist liaison and supporter, John Mato. Just got to sit there. I'll never forget sitting Indian style with him, watching them sound check the entire thing, like the night before, in an empty grand ballroom of Webster Hall, with maybe 4 or 5 other people that were part of the crew and whatnot. And actually my good friend Terry, who I still keep in touch with, I met him that night and had the opportunity to show him up around the building and bring him up on the grid up above the ballroom and everything. And
beautiful.
He's an architect kind of guy. So I'll never forget that night. That was definitely my favorite. It was a private show, and then the next night, obviously, we packed the house and they destroyed
Tore it down.
Yeah, they just destroyed it. They
That's
played
crazy.
an amazing set, and they played the album front to back, and it was just an amazing celebration. And Chris Cornell, God rest his soul,
R.I.P. to him.
absolutely
Legend.
kicked ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
legend, absolute.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing experience, honestly.
So, you were there for the last couple of performances. Which one would you say would be your favorite? And is there
At
any,
Webster?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, the Skrillex performance. I mean,
Yeah.
that final night with Skrillex was so intensely outrageous. It was packed. He played for 5 hours. I mean, he
That's
got
crazy.
up there, and he's close with Kenny, Skrillex, Sonny. He's been a supporter of Webster Hall ever since Webster Hall was a supporter of him. And that sort of exchange is kind of like, that's like the most important thing in the world,
The relationship.
Yeah, that relationship that was kind of developed there, and the back and forth, where he used to come through and he would just like pop up. Like I've seen Skrillex play just for our staff at like 6 a.m. downstairs in the studio in
That's
the
so
basement.
special.
Yeah, and we were just all chilling downstairs having drinks, and like Skrillex was just DJing for us because he just wanted to,
Right.
just because he was like having a good time. And
That's unbelievable.
Grammy Award nominated DJ and he's like he's the coolest dude. He's so humble. I remember that night, like, because it was kind of pandemonium. There was people everywhere, inside and outside on the street. So we're like, all right, we got the call. His van's on the way. All right. So we get everything ready. We have like the barricades out. We got the lane ready, trying to make sure we escort Skrillex in, like, real well, and that he's super comfortable. And like, I'm totally expecting him to like open the thing and like kind of pop out and like let's scurry him on inside. And he opens up the door to the van. And he just stands on the edge, and he stands there and he looks out. And everybody's like, Skrillex, screaming for Skrillex, and he just stands there and looks at everybody. And I'm like, are we gonna do this now? I'm just kind of like, give him a look, and he's like, 1 second. And then he takes out his phone and he starts taking selfies with the crowd.
You wanted
like,
to soak it in.
It was just, it was awesome.
Yeah, why not?
Because he's just a really humble dude, and he's really chill.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Besides, I mean, that's probably the most in detail story I've heard of him, but I've only heard good things about Sonny.
great dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so I know the next chapter of your career is more being a musician. If you want to tell us a little bit about that. I know you have a band.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that, and maybe I think you have a release that just had come out.
Yeah, Johnny and the Bootlegs is the name of the band, and we just released our first self-titled sort of debut official release. Right. We're having our official record release party and performance on Friday, September 8th, and it's at the Vinyl. It's actually right
in
around
New York
the
City?
Yeah, in New York City.
City.
It's actually right around the corner from where Webster Hall was.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know. I
Is,
think I know the place.
Yeah, it used to be this place called Sierra Nevada. Not Sierra Nevada. That's the beer. Nevada Smiths, and it's a pretty great spot. Vinyl stands for Vintage New York Lifestyle.
Oh, cool.
So it's all about there's you got big old posters of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, a lot of Rolling Stones and Frank Sinatra up and in there. So, and it's 3 floors. They are doing a lot of cool stuff, and we'll be excited to be kind of one of the very early phases, or we are part of the early phase of them bringing in live bands and rock and roll and stuff. They do a lot of DJ stuff late night. So, doors are at 8. We play at 9. It'll be a great show, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I had 6 great years working at Webster Hall. Worked really hard, learned a lot about not only, the business side of being an artist, but also kind of how to be an artist.
Totally.
From other artists, or at least, walk like it, talk like it, act like it, be it,
Which is very important in
Yeah,
this business. It really is.
like I could play my guitar all I want, but that place gave me experience, not only in that aspect, but just life experience that.
Which is somewhat more important.
I think the most important thing for any artist.
Oh, completely. I would agree.
I just getting some real experience and kind of being able to see the dark and the light.
Exactly,
And that's how I always describe Webster Hall. Some people said it was the devil's playground. I said that it was the absolute center of what yin and yang represents, especially in New York City, because it was everything dark and everything light in one place all at one time.
Yes,
bumping
that's what it
and
was.
thumping and sweating top to bottom That building was just, the energy was palpable every single fucking
for every
night.
single genre too. It was really unbelievable.
Yeah.
It
So
was incredible. Again, what can people search to find your band's music?
If you look up Johnny and the Bootlegs, we're up and around everywhere. Johnny and the Bootlegs, yeah, and we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You go to johnnyandthebootlegs.com. And that'll link you to everywhere right on the main homepage. Has all the socials right there.
And your merchandise is up yet or not?
Merchandise isn't up on the page yet, but it will be within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're working on kind of I think what's it called, Big Cartel.
Right, a Big Cartel.
Using Big Cartel to start doing the merch.
Mm-hmm.
Processing merch through our website. Right now, it's just at our shows. And Jay Santi Music is sort of the company that I'm creating, taking a lot of that with me, because I don't only Johnny and the Bootlegs is a blues rock and roll
band
we call it New York City blues punk rock,
right.
But I also sit down and I have feelings too, despite what people think. so I write a lot of acoustic based, kind of like more sweet songwriting stuff, singer songwriter stuff. And I also I put out an album called Devils and Lovers, which was all Soundgarden 90s inspired. And it's all drop D, open D, dad gad tuning, kind of funky guitar stuff, and a lot of.
And that was your solo project.
That was actually a project that I did with a good friend of mine named Jason Alosio.
Okay.
Who's a kick-ass drummer, and he's also a PhD graduate of Fordham and ecologist who I swear he will save the world. If anybody's going to save the world in the environment, it's Jason Alosio. But he's my brother. We've known each other since we were 12 years old, 11 years old, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we did that a few years ago during an intense 2015 where I put out a song a week for the entire year.
I remember that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's up. You can see that. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes and all that.
The new one is up.
Devils and Lovers is up. And the new one is up. Yeah.
Right,
everything,
right.
all of that's available.
Right.
And, jsantimusic.com and johnnyandthebootlegs.com are both linked to the same site. You go to the same site.
Oh, wonderful.
And it says
great.
Jay Santi Music presents Johnny and the Bootlegs, because that's where the focus is right now. But across the top, you can go to John Santiago, which is my acoustic stuff. You can go to Devils and Lovers and check out any of the drop D. And as time goes on, Jay Santi Music will eventually bring on other artists.
Right.
Like there's this great band in Brooklyn that I love, August on Sunday.
Okay.
Those dudes are great. I saw them
there's
perform.
some hidden gems over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, and these are Brooklyn dudes. They grew up in Bay Ridge, and they're they're out there. They're not in Williamsburg playing all the hip spots,
Right, they're really
but you go down to Bay Ridge and you go to the Leaf, and every 3 Fridays they're hosting a show with these kick-ass,
And they're jamming.
real rootsy New York bands that are rock and roll, and August on Sunday is a very 90s influenced rock band.
That's
but
awesome.
they
you're gonna have to send me some of that.
yeah, you'll hear them. We're gonna play a lot together. We're plotting a tour in December to go down and through Nashville, Memphis, Austin, Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Birmingham, Alabama, and then probably up to Chicago and then back home to New York.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping that they can join us for that entire tour,
Right.
and that we can have that sort of double bill and I think that those, again, kind of back to what you said before, those relationships
Key.
and we have a great relationship and a kinship. The first time I saw them play, their guitarist is I'm like, that dude plays the blues, that's a bluesman right there, and afterwards I was like, you're my dude,
Right.
you're
found
my man, we gotta stay in touch, and we've just been in touch and play shows together lately, and
Yeah.
we're
Good.
talking
Good.
about
Good.
doing it,
Good. Yeah. Making all the right moves there. So why the self-titled name?
Just because I haven't seen it in a while, and I love Sublime, and I like that Sublime. 40 Ounces to Freedom is my favorite Sublime album, but I like that afterwards they just put out Sublime. And I used to see all these albums coming out that were just self-titled, and I don't see it anymore. So I was just like, we're sort of we're holding a tradition, I feel like, and we're kind of holding the torch to keep that tradition alive, especially in an arena being New York City, where it's all forward thinking right now. It's all
Right.
DJ and electronic music, and then
Yes.
that mixture with hip hop and like pushing forward in that sense. But we're kind of holding that torch, man. We're like the ZZ Top. You know, we're ZZ Top of right now, and we're just like a bar band. We're just having fun and rocking out and doing our thing, drinking beers and having a good time, and that's what it's about, in my opinion. Just have fun.
That is what it's about, man.
Especially Johnny and the Bootlegs, man. We have a lot of fun. So.
And how did you guys like form? How did you guys get together? Are these like your bandmates? Are they people you were friends with initially, or how did it all come together?
Yeah. Right now, so in that year, that 2015 year, like I said, I was putting out a song a week, and I had my boy Jason with me, and we got through a lot. We got the first 5 or 6 months together, and he was like, "Yo, I gotta finish my PhD program. Like, I don't have time." And I was like, "Well, shit, I still have 6 months left." And I told everybody, including myself, that I'm gonna put out a song a week for this entire year, and I'm gonna do that. So I reached out to my boy Dan Kenny, who I went to. You know, I have a master's degree in psychology too, so I went to school with him while we were getting our degree, and I just reached out to him and was like, "Yo, we jammed back in the day. I know you're not really a drummer, but you were able to hold it down. Can we maybe get together and try and figure this out? Because I got all the songs. I just need to record them, and I need somebody to record them with." So I did that, and of course I go up there, and he's like, "Well, maybe Eric will come and he'll play bass." I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Our other homie, bring him." And he's got this big barn in his backyard that we just kind of set up shop. And the first time I went up there, he was like, "Yo, we've been brewing beer. I think we're getting pretty good at it." And I gave me a beer. I was like, "This is delicious IPA. This is a delicious
it from
IPA. What are
Brooklyn?
you talking about? What's up?"
From Brooklyn?
No, up in Carmel, New York. So I was driving
Okay.
upstate
Okay.
once, twice a week for, a while, for months on end, just going up and getting the songs prepared with these guys.
So that's
and
where
writing
you were
new
doing
stuff.
the recording.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we recorded in the city. We recorded in Brooklyn.
Oh, right.
We still record.
Which place was it?
It's called Studio G.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I know about
It's
it.
like right on the border of Greenpoint, right by McCarran Park
Yep.
in Brooklyn, and it's
Yep.
it's a great facility. We record with Jeff Berner, who's a phenomenal engineer, aside from being the lead guitar player in Psychic TV, and they are kick ass, and he's just great. So I think they're in Vegas right now playing actually.
On tour?
What's that?
They're touring in Vegas?
No, they were doing the Psycho Fest, I think it's
Oh,
called.
okay.
Yeah, they
Little
just went to
festival.
go play a couple dates.
Oh, that's dope.
But so I went up there. He gave me the beers, and then that's how the name the Bootlegs came about. Because I was like, "Y'all are just brewing bootleg beer up here." All right, cool. So
Do you have a sticker or anything that I can show the camera?
I think I do have. Did I bring
That's
it?
cool.
Oh, what's up? That's the sticker noise. Yeah. There's a couple.
Sticker noise.
No, one sticker. Anybody?
Let's see. Yes, I'll take one. Sure.
The rum one's my favorite.
This
The
is
growler?
too cool.
Yeah.
It's too cool. See ya.
Yeah, so that's our logo, and now we got Dan the drummer. We still get together and we write a lot. Me, he, and Eric, and we brought on Ryan Adams, not the singer. Everybody's always like, "Wait, your drummer's Ryan Adams?" I'm like, not the same Ryan Adams, but our drummer's name is Ryan Adams, and yeah, and he's just he's kick-ass. He helped me the entire year. I met him at Webster Hall in 2015, and he helped me with a lot of the administrative
Well,
stuff.
see, there you go. That brings it back to the relationships that you made
Exactly.
through there. So
Yeah, a lot of really great relationships from that place.
yeah,
So,
and we wouldn't know each other if
fortunate.
that place didn't exist.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wild. It's crazy.
Either.
You handsome son of a bitch. Don't you do that.
Yeah. Get out of here, you guy. So I mean, would you mind playing us like a couple tunes?
No, of course not. I would love to do that. I don't know what I'm going to play, but
All right.
I guess since I was late, I'll start with that one.
Yeah,
Do I have to,
take
do I
your
have to
time.
leave these on? Or?
You do not.
All right. Cool. I will say, in all my life, one thing I've learned is that I'll always prefer playing in front of a ton of people than like 4 people watching.
sure.
judging.
Well, you're playing for the radio right now.
It's
all right,
different.
so they're
It's
out there.
personal.
They're out there.
I'll close my eyes.
I won't.
They're out there. Good, sound-wise? Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, I was late, and I swear I'm always late, and this is off the Johnny and the Bootlegs release that we just put out, Always Late, and everybody seems to always love this song. Some bootleg shit. Waiting on downtown, I know you'll wait for me. You'll have yourself a drink or two, you might even have three. You'll just complain because you say I'm always late. But darling, don't you worry, I won't ever make you chase the breeze. I'm waiting on uptown, I know I'll wait for you. I'll have myself this cigarette and I might just puff on two. I won't complain because I know it's how it goes. But darling, won't you help me get rid of all of these ugly ghosts? Oh, let's go.
This is where we get really weird. Start talking to the crowd, and I call the people out in the front row. I'm like, your pants are falling off. Pick your pants up. What's going on? Go get another beer at the bar. Tip your bartenders. All that stuff, you know.
I'm waiting on downtown, I know you'll wait for me. You'll have yourself a drink or two, you might even have three. I won't complain because I know I'm always late. But darling, don't you worry, I won't ever make you masturbate. Let's go! That's a good one. I love that one. Playing it with the band is like the best thing that's ever happened in my life, basically.
Aw.
What was the name of that one?
It's called Always Late.
Always Late.
Yeah.
That's,
You can
and
get it
that's
on
on the new,
Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes.
Oh, okay.
Fits me very well.
that's on the new one, right?
It's fun with the band. This is I'm gonna play a tune That's cool. I keep playing.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I'm gonna play a tune that we're recording now for our follow-up EP that'll come out in the winter. And it's a tune that I wrote like years ago when I first moved to New York City.
Okay.
It's called New York City Woman.
Oh, I like this one. I've heard it. I've heard it
This one,
live.
too. It's like a stomper. It's one of those ones that makes me want to like
Yeah,
move my feet like
yeah.
an idiot on stage, you know? It's fun. Give me a beer. I said to give me a shot. Give me a New York City woman. A New York City woman. Tell me it's true. Oh, tell me it's not. But promise to squeeze juice from the mango on the best night of our lives. Whoa, 'cause it's a Saturday. That's Friday, shit. We're getting blown away. So let your time divide until the sun starts a brand new day. Say what? Till the sun starts a brand new day. Give me a hug. I said to give me your drugs. Yeah, and how about a blowjob in the morning on the best night of our lives? Tell me to lie. I said to tell me it's white. Just like the cocaine you've been snorting, like the cocaine we've been snorting. Whoa, 'cause it's a Saturday. We're getting blown away. So let your time divide until the sun starts a brand new day. Say what? Till the sun starts a brand new day. Oh. And they say that a pretty girl can help you to cross all your lines. Yeah, so maybe I need, maybe I bleed for you. Yeah, so maybe I need, maybe I bleed for you. Yeah, so maybe I need, oh, maybe I bleed. This is where you raise your glasses. Hey. For you to give me a beer, I said to give me a shot, and give me a New York City woman. Oh, thanks. I love that song.
That's one of my favorites that I've heard you perform live.
Yeah, cool.
And in general that I've heard from you. I really think that's an incredible song.
It's really fun.
What was the
like
re-
electric too.
I
So I
bet.
use this really disgusting distortion on it. I call it Satan's butthole. It's not what it's actually called, but it's what the combination of pedals that I
Right,
use
right.
with it. It just gets this like, it's just the dirtiest thing ever, and it's
What would
really a
the-
lot of fun to stomp around to up on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, hell yeah. Is there an inspiration behind this song? Like a certain New York City woman
Yeah,
that we're
that's what
talking
I would
about?
love to. I would
You don't
love
got to
to know.
name names.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I wrote that song sitting on my bed when I first moved to Brooklyn in Ditmas Park.
And what year was that?
It was 2011. It was July of 2011. It was literally like maybe the second week of me living in the city.
Right.
And I had gone out one night, and me and my boy at the time, Dan Crouppen, we went back to this girl's place, and, you know, things got a little weird and a little crazy. And the next day when I finally made my way home, I remember I had to go to work, and I was like, oh my God, I slept for like an hour and a half. What am I doing? And I was like, this is what I'm doing. It just like dawned on me. I was like, this is why I'm here. Like, to have this experience. And do this. Like, I was with my bro, you know, like we were there, and we had a great time, and the girls were super cool. They were the best. I hung out with them for a while.
The New York City
You know,
woman.
and I remember I went to work and hated my life through the day, basically, and I got home, and that song was just like in me, and it just kind of came out.
And you wrote it that day.
I wrote
When
it
you got home.
that next night, yeah, when I came home.
That's
After
awesome.
that night.
That
Yeah,
is
because you were
awesome.
inspired by that. That's awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great
That's so
backstory
cool.
to that.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere you like to go to write music, or anything that like really inspires you? Is there like one place you go where you're just like, there's like tons of inspiration?
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
Where you find your chi.
If I can find the time to like just get out of the city, usually that's it. Because when I'm in New York City, there's just a lot that usually is going on. Especially like at first, like I said, you know, I was when I first moved there, and it's all inspirational. And then it got to a point where like then my life was there, my job was there, the community's there. Everybody's like reaching out to you, you know. And I'm blessed. I feel, you know, I'm not a religious guy, but I use these words, whatever. I'm blessed, and I'm thankful that I have all that there, and that those people do reach out to me, and that I have constant communication with really great human beings. But sometimes it's just too fucking much, and I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here, because it just feels like I was saying the other day, like sometimes my head is just feels like it's a machine gun of thoughts and trying to remember this or that. I got to be here. I got to help this person. I got to go do that, blah, 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 whatever it is. So it's nice because right now I got this week where I'm here, I'm chilling. I think I've written at least 5 skeletons for new songs just being here since Monday, since
wow.
Sunday. So anytime that I kind of like step away for a minute and I get to breathe,
Yeah.
then like Bruce Springsteen once said that he doesn't write songs. He said, I don't write songs. What I do is I just open myself up and I allow myself to let energy flow through me, and then songs begin to write themselves like as it's happening. So anytime that I'm able to kind of like clear my head, I always feel like that, and I was always able to really relate to that feeling, because the majority of songs that I've written that I actually care about and like stick around and like I continue playing are ones that happen like that, where it's like I sit down, I start playing, and some shit comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool line, and then I just starts going. It just like builds. So
Would you consider Bruce Springsteen like one of your biggest influence?
actually, I never liked Bruce Springsteen. I never liked him.
Really?
But about like probably like 6-7 years ago, between reading stuff about him as a man,
Right.
he's a great man. He's a great
Right.
man. And two, hearing him play acoustic and sit down with an acoustic guitar.
It's a different world.
He's a bluesman, and like I don't know, it just changed my whole everything. You know, like I might not go running down the street to go see the E Street Band live or whatever. There's no denying that those dudes are all badass musicians and
yeah.
kick ass. They play like 3-hour-long shows.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I love when anytime I see him sit with an acoustic guitar, that's like the rawest and the realest that you get of anybody. So
Yeah. I mean, who would you say are your biggest influences in music? I mean, whether growing up it has changed. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's morphed and become all sorts of things. I mean, you know, I woke up today and I got in the shower and I put on Ray Charles. I love Ray Charles. His early Essential
Atlantic Recordings. You know, like
I have that on
that's
yeah.
it's my favorite.
I
You
love
know, Ray Charles for sure. Freddie King, huge influence. And I wouldn't probably listen to Freddie King if it wasn't for my, 3-year long infatuation with Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
Those dudes. That's how I taught myself to play guitar. I've been playing trumpet since I was 7, 6. I grew up listening to my pops playing the saxophone all my life, listening to a lot of great music with him. And but I taught myself how to play the guitar basically by watching videos of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix live and just being like, oh, I gotta figure out how to do that. Like I want it to sound like that. So
Yeah. So that's okay.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Is there anybody you really like want to collaborate with in the future? Like any artists now that you maybe see like potential collaboration?
Yeah, definitely. There's the Other Kind Music in New York. Those are my homies. We'll definitely collaborate. I have no doubt we'll collaborate on some stuff. But I would love to collaborate with Dan Auerbach and obviously Jack White. Those guys are. Those are two dudes that are like.
Oh, Jack White is so freaking cool.
He's amazing.
My experience with him at Electric Lady Studios is. That's the first time I ever saw marijuana. I had a private show.
It sounds
That
about right.
reminded me of
I
Dewey Cox
might as well
story.
tell this story. It is like a Dewey Cox story.
That's what it
I walk
reminded me of.
in. They're doing a private show at Electric Lady Studios my father owned, and I walk in. They're like, "Yeah, you want to meet him before the private show?" It's like only 10 people that get to see the show. So I walk in. I'm in elementary school, and him and the drummer, who was his sister, or his wife, whatever it was just them. And Jack White's like smoking joints, and like I knew it wasn't a cigarette, and like I asked, and like I'm sitting down next to him, and he was gonna like hand it to me, and then he was like, "Whoa, never mind." Like my dad was in the room. My dad it was funny. I mean, to see marijuana for the first time with Jack White, like in a room with him and 2 other people, is pretty funny.
That's pretty serious. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You don't want to try this. It'll make you.
Yeah, it was a Dewey Cox experience.
And then suddenly 10 years later, Jack White's like, Ryan Flanzer, I know him.
know so?
He never once paid me for drugs. Not once gave us any money.
Oh God.
That's great.
Is there anywhere you really want to perform? Like, any venue?
After, this kind of circles back to Soundgarden, but I was actually at the final ever Soundgarden performance in Detroit. And I had never once stepped foot inside of the Fox Theater in Detroit. And on that day, when I stepped in there, I was there during the day, right before they were about to sound check with the band, actually. And that is the most ornate and like beautiful theater I've ever seen in my life.
Oh wow,
That's
awesome.
It looks like the beginning of, what is that? It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something, when Indiana Jones is running through that crazy like palace club thing and the white jacket with the bow tie. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
I swear it might have actually even been filmed there for all I know. But it was like seriously, it was amazing. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and that's a huge theater. I mean, that's a 5,000 capacity theater.
That's
but
a huge place.
it was beautiful. It was really amazing. I would love to perform there one day.
That's awesome.
Any other places, or is that just like the main goal? You have one more that you have.
You have more of like an intimate place.
An intimate place. You
Yeah.
trying to
Like a
come on, man,
legendary
we just met.
Oh, I think
that too.
Electric Lady. You'd like to do a little thing at Electric Lady.
I would love to do something.
Yeah.
I've never been to Electric Ladyland. That's
Well, I'm
definitely
gonna
one
make
of
it
my-
happen for you.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a
gonna
beautiful
make that
thing.
happen.
I would love that.
Is Electric Lady as like a smaller, more intimate venue?
No, it's not a venue. It's the #1 recording studio in the country,
Oh,
which was
it's
owned by
still-
Jimi Hendrix, which my family had purchased and I grew up in, and that molded me to be doing what I do now. And it's a wonderful place. They do small performances. Usually, like Lord just did one. I'm blanking on a bunch of names, but there's Questlove did one recently. There's a lot of different walks of life. Patty, what's her name? John, help me out here.
Patti Smith?
Yeah, there you go. She just did poetry and then
Oh,
a
God.
live performance like a couple months ago
She's a
there,
great writer.
which is really cool. So I'm gonna make sure I get John in there sometime soon. And
That's awesome.
it's one of the most spiritually in the music. If you're, I mean, it's unbelievable that you just walk in and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say as a DJ. Even though I've done those big 2,000, 3,000 person shows, sometimes those smaller, packed 800, 500 people in a DJ sense is, to me, just as more intimate, if not even better vibe sometimes than those bigger crowds, you know? And,
Definitely.
you know, obviously the music you do is that it's actually more intimate overall because there's more words involved. It's not just more like you're there to headbang and chill, you know? For your music, it's actually more intimate. So that's why I was asking for a smaller venue if there was.
Yeah, so I do have an answer for you then, because I would love to play at Antone's in Austin,
Okay.
which is a great. I mean, it's new. It's not in the same location it used to be in, but Antone's is where like Stevie Ray Vaughan came up. Albert King used to play there all the time. It's a blues landmark and a place where like anybody who played the blues throughout the 70s and 80s
Sounds
and
like your
90s,
spot.
that's the space. Like
Yeah.
you had to pass through Antone's. Like it's like a rite of passage. So I hope that I get to play at Antone's. It's definitely a smaller cap. It's probably only 450, 500 cap. Maybe
Those are
maybe a
perfect.
little bit more. You know
Yeah,
what
I call
mean?
those sweat boxes.
Yeah, exactly. And
Perfect.
it's just it's a really cool space. I got to go and see the new one last time I was in Austin, but haven't gotten to play there yet. I would say I probably played all the intimate spaces that I was looking up to in New
really?
York.
That's
at
that's
this
awesome.
point, you
So
know?
you're knocking your bucket list off.
Yeah,
There you go.
definitely.
Nice.
So.
I think the smaller ones, you can just like feel the energy of
Yes.
the crowd so much more, and you can see people's faces.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And when there's thousands of people, it's like you can't even like pinpoint one face and like really, you know, feel their energy. So it's cool. The smaller venues are really cool.
Yeah, I agree. There's something very special that can happen there. It's like, you know, Jimi Hendrix used to call, he always said he held electric church. That's how I feel about music and live music. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we're all gathering together to, what did Prince say? Forget this thing called life or whatever, you know? But like, we are gathered here, you know, to have a good time
Prince
and
is
enjoy
really
each other.
special and interesting musician. He would only record at Electric Lady
Really?
because they have the only purple console in the world. Because Jimi Hendrix
That makes a lot of sense.
is obsessed with purple. The whole vibe is purple. It's such a vibe, man.
That's why that's your favorite color.
Purple is my favorite color.
Is
That's
that
a good
why?
color.
Because you grew up around that aura.
I never thought about that.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Makes
for instance,
sense.
I heard whatever your mother's pregnant with and craves, you have a natural craving for.
I heard that too.
Like, so I have a natural
True.
craving for peanut butter because my mom loved peanut butter when she was with me. But like,
But that
she
doesn't make
loved.
your favorite color brown because peanut butter is brown.
No, but I'm saying like,
Brownish.
no, I'm saying though you around that aura though, you know. So
Right,
it's-
so it would influence
You're
me.
kind of like a product of your environment, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that played a color influence. Because, you know, when I was really little, it was red. And then when I got to elementary school, I started to hang out, you know, Jimi Hendrix studio. I mean, I was still young. I really got into purple being my favorite color. I mean, you know, middle school and high school. Yeah, it definitely did influence it, I guess. That's so weird to think about.
Yeah,
Think
it's
about-
cool. I love stuff like that.
Speaking of kind of food, though, seeing as New York's your home base, everyone knows that New York has some of the most amazing food. So how does that
Gross. I don't know
feel?
what you're talking about. It's disgusting.
So how does that feel? I was like, oh, I had to give him a look for a second because I've eaten there before, and I'm like, wait a minute. So how does that feel when you go on the road, man? Are you trying to look for more mom and pop type places? You're just looking to eat fast because you're not, you know, maybe the expectations would be high, or how does that work for you? Because I'm a foodie, so when I go out to eat, I try to find the best.
I'm more on the mom and pop side of things
too.
than
Yeah.
I am like if I see like chains when I'm out, I'm like not even so much on the fact of like of the food, but on the experience of being there. Like I can't stand like I had my friend come into town recently. And she was like, we're at Central Park, come and meet up with us. I was like, yeah, I'll come and see you guys in a little bit. I'm just in the middle of something, whatever. What do you? She was like, well, we're really hungry. We're going to Applebee's. I'm like, you
Oh my
came to New York
God.
City to go to Applebee's?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Like, no, go to
That's-
the, you know,
that's-
go down to the park on 10th Avenue. There's a crazy indoor, there's a tree inside and birds flying around and stuff.
Yeah, go
like, and they make
experience
the
some shit.
dopest
You're
like
going to
brick oven
Applebee's,
pizza.
the
You
chain.
know,
You
like,
go to Applebee's anywhere.
Yeah,
yeah, like I
go to a
don't want to
chain.
do that, you know. So I
would
just
not
like
do
that
that.
experience of experiencing wherever you go and knowing like these people are from here. They eat, breathe, sweat, bleed this town. They love it, and they're giving you a little piece of it with their food. So I want to go in there.
That's
and
a
I
good
wanna
way to
feel
look
that,
at it.
you know?
So is there a certain spot that you stopped at on your, during your tours or during a certain city or state that you're like, man, I wish they had this in New York?
I'm sure there is, but I don't have it in my head right now.
Not off the top of the head.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be, though.
It's like, damn, you stopped me. I'm thinking about this
you
one.
got me, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just a foodie, man. I kind of wanted to go to New York now for the food. So
No, we're gonna take you over
Well,
there.
you got a place to stay anytime you want to come up,
Me
bro.
and Ryan are already talking about going soon, so it might be
Yeah,
sooner
we'll
than
definitely meet
later.
up with John when we're out there.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
I mean,
Heck yeah.
that's my home.
Tight.
And that is John's home
That's
as well.
right, yeah.
That's where it's at. All right. John, is there anything else you want to drop on us? Anything you want to promote that you're coming up with?
Like I said, Friday, September 8th, if anybody's around, come on out to the Vinyl. It's a free show. It's a party that the Vinyl is cool enough to host for us.
Which is in New York City.
It's in New York City. It's 100 3rd Avenue. It's between 12th and 13th Street on 3rd Avenue in New York City in Manhattan. And afterwards, I'm sure we'll go over to Jesse Mallon's club and party at Berlin. That's the after party idea. So definitely come out, but take a listen to the album. There's some really cool stuff on the album. I'm really excited for the follow-up that's gonna come out in the winter. Those are I think some of the best songs that I've ever had the pleasure of recording and putting out with a band.
The ones that are coming up.
That are gonna come out, yeah.
All right. And just give us one last reminder of where we can find the one you recently released.
On Spotify, on iTunes, on Apple Music. You can look up Johnny and the Bootlegs. You can go to johnnyandthebootlegs.com. That'll send you on over. And if you go on SoundCloud, actually, if you go to J Santi Music, if you find J Santi Music, there's a lot of music up there. Not all of the bootleg stuff is up there, but a lot
Some of it is.
Yeah, all the Devils and Lovers.
Where
stuff
do you
is up
find
there.
those song a week for 2000?
Most of that's on SoundCloud.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah.
that archive must be
It was a
deep.
lot.
Yeah, he
Every
worked- he worked
Tuesday
hard.
we put one out, and it was cool because we archived. I put out a piece of writing about what the song was about, the inspiration for the song.
Oh, so you're giving them more than a song. You're kind of giving them a piece.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was definitely a self. It was a very therapeutic process. It was really cool and it was really positive. Clearest headed year of my life.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because like I said, as a music, that song a week is very hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with that song a week, were those cover songs or were those songs that you actually
No.
were making yourself?
They're all originals.
That's what I wanted to know for the fans and everybody else out there. So these are all original songs, one a week.
Yeah.
That is not easy. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that's a good question though, because you could have done a cover song or two as some filler or anything, but wow, all original content for all a week. Wow, that's
Yeah, it was a lot.
All right, guys.
Very
So
impressive.
check out John's music, and you can find them by searching for Johnny and the Bootlegs. They'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, most major platforms, or you can check them out on SoundCloud at J Santi Music. And thank you for tuning in. You'll be able to find this on YouTube at a later date. This is the Recess Show on STLR Media. Thank you.
You guys are great. Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for coming out.
Appreciate it.